Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I'm here at H&H Auctions at Pavillion Gardens in Buxton. Absolutely beautiful setting for the cars. You can see some of the cars behind me, and then there's more in that building that you can see behind me as well. Beautiful architecture. It's in a kind of gardens, public gardens, really lovely setting. It's been a long drive here, cross country through the Peak District, but very nice. A ton of cars, loads of vintage stuff, obviously all the usual suspects here, classics, modern classics. So this is the second video I've done on this auction. The first one concentrated mostly on the cars that are inside the building. A lot of cars from a private collection called the LOWLINE collection, which was some really top quality cars. Today's video is the second part, and I'm concentrating more on the cars that are outside, all along outside the building in the two marquees that you can probably see, and then cars stretch all along the building here. So we're starting with this Maserati 4200 GT. It's obviously the 4.2 litre naturally aspirated V8 in these. Shared engine with Ferrari. They sound great. I also particularly like this colour that they come in. This is 2004. This one is really well looked after. It's got a full specialist or main dealer history. Some of these don't have the best history nowadays, I find. It looks in really great condition. It's a auto gearbox, the F1 gearbox. Less desirable to some, in part because of the clutch wear and huge expense of replacing these. But looks in great condition. It's guided at £7,000 to £9,000, which seems a pretty reasonable price considering it's only got 64,000 miles on it. Then onto this beautiful Bentley ARNAGE next to it. It's a limited edition Le Mans edition. Only 62 of these were made in right-hand drive to celebrate Bentley's return to Le Mans after 70 odd years away. It's got lots of different bits on it. I think the wheel arch is a bit different wheels. These quad exhaust pipes, vented front wings. It's got lots of Le Mans badging all over it. This looks in really beautiful condition, inside and out. These had the same 6.75 turbo V8, of course, 400 horsepower. And this has been really well looked after. 13 service stamps in the book. And the interior really is exquisite. It's got Le Mans logos on the speedo and the rev counter, and the centre console. Slightly different gear lever, I think. Yeah, lovely condition. It's guided at £20,000 to £25,000. I haven't seen one of these for sale for so long because they're quite rare. I don't really know how that looks, but what would one of these be if it wasn't a special edition? Maybe mid-teens, perhaps? So I suppose the question is, how much extra is this special edition worth? Over to this 1976 Triumph 2500S. So I suppose this was the kind of ultimate version in some respects, twin carb, 2.5 litre straight six. They came with a manual or auto. This originally came with an auto. It's had lots of restoration work over the years, I think historical restoration, but was actually converted to a 4-speed manual. It's not perfect in here, there's marks. It's done 113,000 miles. It guided at £6,000 to £8,000, which I think seems pretty good value. The condition's very good. As I say, it's not perfect, but a good looking car. It's a nice 500 SL. I might come back to that when there's fewer people around. And over to this Capri. This is a 2 litre laser. Good colour. This is a 2 litre 4-cylinder, obviously, 5-speed manual. I think they called this lacquer red. Nice looking car. Previous restoration work, guided at £7,000 to £9,000. And another 2 litre laser. This is a 1985. Purchased in 2021 by the vendor, who has then recommissioned it and resprayed it as well. So this is, I think, mineral blue. So full respray just a few years ago. It's only 55,000 miles, so this is the pick of the two in my opinion. It's guided at £8,000 to £10,000, only 4 keepers on this as well. Yeah, the interior looks pretty much as good as the exterior. It's a nice looking car and I think a fairly reasonable price. And a Rover P6, so this is a 2000 SC, 1972, in a very 70s beige. So these ones had the 2 litre 4-cylinder engine, of course, only 90 horsepower. But a classic British car, guided at £6,000 to £8,000, looks in fairly good condition. Again, not a perfect car, but at this price I think that's fairly reasonable. Looks very good, nice tan interior. Seems to have held up fairly well. Manual transmission. Yeah, well used, well loved, but in pretty good condition I think. And again, seems to be pretty fairly guided, I would say. So here's a 1978 Volvo 244 DL. I haven't seen one of these for quite a long time. Looks great in this green. It's only done 51,000 miles. It's been in long-term ownership. So this is the 2.2 diesel, automatic transmission. It does run and drive, but apparently requires recommissioning. It's certainly not in brilliant condition. Quite a bit of rust starting to show through here and there. But at that miles, it could go on for a long time if someone wants to do a bit of recommissioning on this. It's no reserve as well. Obviously worn in here. A fairly niche car, I would suggest. I don't see many of these at auctions. I like it because it's unusual. Here's a 1966 Ford Mustang. This is a V8, obviously notchback. And looking in pretty good condition. This came to the UK in 2015 from North Carolina. It's had quite a lot of restoration work over the years. It got the 302 cubic inch, so what's that, 5 litre or so V8, and had a load of work done on that engine. So different inlet manifold, performance camshaft, cylinder heads, different pistons, etc. So I bet this goes really nicely. Nice looking car, £20,000 to £25,000 guide price. And here's a car that I think is actually appreciating quite a bit, unlike some classics. These really seem to be very popular at the moment. 1974 Granada, Ford Granada GHIA. This is the 3 litre, so V6S in coupe form. Lovely colour, obviously top of the range GHIA trim, and this kind of fastback style. Beautiful looking car. It's had a ton of restoration work. Back in 2021, I believe. Only 76,000 miles, which obviously for the age isn't that much. And these Mark I Granadas seem to be fetching very good money at the moment. This one's an auto, as you can see. In very nice condition. It's guided at £13,000 to £15,000. I've seen these sell for a fair bit more than that, so I'd expect it to make that. And another 70s car, a 74 Peugeot 304S Cabriolet. Another car I don't see that many of, and another car that's in 70s beige. Again, relatively low mileage, 65,000 miles. Fairly rare, these in right-hand drive and cabriolet form. Beautiful looking thing, guided at £9,000 to £11,000. And onto a car I have quite a soft spot for, actually. Obviously Mercedes SL, this one's an SL63 AMG. Wheels aren't looking too great, but they can easily be rectified. So this is a 2008, so it came with the M156 engine. Yeah, a bit tatty, I have to say, around the edges, this one. Can easily be rectified. But a guide price of £20,000 to £25,000, I think someone's going to be wanting one a bit better. These were, what, just shy of 520 horsepower. So this is the very famous 6.2 litre V8 engine. I personally prefer the M157, the 5.5 bi-turbo, which I had in another car, but these undoubtedly make a better noise. Lovely car. These had the MCT gearbox as well, which was much better than the 7G Tronic, a much better gearbox. So although chalk and cheese, this is another car that I've got quite a soft spot for, actually. It's a 1959 Ford CONSUL, a Lowline Deluxe. This has had just 2 owners in the last 5 decades. It was off the road for 22 years back in the 80s, then fully recommissioned, only done 55,000 miles. Had quite a lot of recent work in the last 5 years or so, unleaded cylinder head, stainless steel exhaust, new clutch, brakes, etc, etc. Looks beautiful. These 50s cars are such a different style. Guided at £10,000 to £12,000, which seems about right, given it's in pretty good looking condition. This pale yellow is quite an unusual colour nowadays. Very 50s interior. I love that. I love the simplicity and style of those 50s interiors. And the exterior for that matter. Nice car. So another Bentley. This is a 2005 Flying Spur. Obviously similar looks to the Continental GT of the time, but this is the four-door Grand Tourer. I always think these look slightly uncomfortable, and I don't know, the proportions don't quite do it for me. It's still a very nice looking car, don't get me wrong. And this one looks in great condition. It's only 54,000 miles. It's got a really good service history. I think something like 14 service stamps, most of them main dealer. Looks very well cared for. 6 litre W12 twin turbo, of course. 560 odd horsepower. Lovely, lovely interior here. Beautiful. Guided, I think, fairly sensibly, £15,000 to £17,000, but this era Bentley does just not seem to fetch that much money at the moment, so I think it's touch and go whether that'll make reserve, in my opinion. But this is a good example. I've seen many a lot worse, that's for sure. Onto a Jaguar XKR. This is a 2007, so X150 era. Obviously the bonnet vents give it away as an XKR. This is a convertible, so the 4.2 supercharged, 420 horsepower. So looks in good condition. It's very low mileage for one of these, 51,000 miles. It's not perfect, bit of bubbling and damage. Otherwise looks fairly good. It's guided at 16,000 to 18,000 pounds. It seems quite high to me. I suppose it's guided that high because of the low mileage, but I think you can get a 5 litre supercharged, decent condition for that kind of money, so I'll be surprised if it makes quite that. Here's a BMW 745i SE. Really beautiful interior on this car. 2004, so these were the 4.4 V8. I actually had a 750i a year later. Yeah, it's not perfect. There's quite a few marks on the outside. I do like this light interior though. These were so high spec. This era doesn't appeal to everyone. This aesthetically, I think it's fair to say. This does have damage around it, as you can see. It's guided at £6,000 to £8,000. I don't think it's going to make anywhere near that money. It's only 69,000 miles, so it is low mileage for one of these, but I think that's cloud cuckoo land thinking that'll make this, to be honest. Here's another Jaguar XK X150 era. This one's a naturally aspirated V8 4.2. These still seem to make pretty good money compared to the Rs, in my opinion. This one's 105,000 miles, so fairly high. It's in excellent condition though. It's guided at £6,000 to £8,000. As I say, these do seem to make fairly good money, so this may make it. It's in very good condition. Yeah, lovely looking interior with this light leather. The light leather really does work well in these, I think. Yeah, for the age, this is really good condition. And next to it is this Porsche 911. It's a Carrera 4, 1999, so an early 996. This one has ridiculously low mileage, under 13,000 miles from new. I think 14 service stamps on this. So for the mileage, that's pretty good. Obviously, people get put off these with the engine issues, bore score, IMS. This is an auto, less desirable to some. Very good in there, I mean, as you'd expect from a 13,000 mile car. Guided at £26,000 to £30,000. Can't see it making that myself, just because of the issues with the engine. People get put off, even though it's low mileage. And here's a beautiful looking Mercedes 300 SL, so 1990 this one. The 300 SLs were a straight 6 3 litre, only around 190 or so horsepower. These are 129 generation SLs, do seem to be fetching some pretty good money nowadays though. This one hasn't been used much since 2018, so I'm not quite sure whether that means it needs some recommissioning or not. It's guided at £10,000 to £12,000, and given it's only done 33,000 miles, actually seems a pretty reasonable price to me. And onto another SL 500, obviously the next generation Mercedes R230 era. Some rust appearing around the arches, relatively minor. Looks very good condition in here. I always get quite nervous with these. They do come with a lot of issues, hard top, ABC suspension, etc. Obviously 5 litre V8, guided at £8,000 to £10,000. Here's a lovely looking Mark II Golf GTI. It's an oak green. Paintwork looks lovely. Aftermarket wheels. Looks very good condition. Only 66,000 miles, pretty low for one of these. Guided at £11,000 to £13,000. And then here's a V8 MGB. This one's a 1974, obviously a GT rather than a Roadster. 3.5 litre Rover V8, lovely looking condition. It was fully restored in the late 90s at a cost of about £14,000 then. Interior and exterior look really good condition. Purchased by the current vendor for £25,000 and now guided at 18 to 22. And moving on to this beautiful looking Mercedes 500 SL, so 107 era, in this champagne gold. It looks good. It's very high miles, 161,000 miles, but it looks to have been really well looked after and in very good condition for that kind of mileage. Owned by the vendor for about 8 years, so relatively long ownership. And it looks pretty good in here as well, considering the mileage. There is some wear on the driver's seat bolster, as you can see. Guided at £16,000 to £20,000, which seems fairly reasonable, but perhaps a little expensive for the mileage. 2004 ALPINA Roadster S. Obviously based on the Z4, which had a 3 litre. This used a 3.4 litre inline 6, 300 horsepower. I do like the Alpinas, and they do seem to hold their money well. This is 103,000 miles. I hardly ever see a low mileage Alpina. Very distinctive wheels and nice red leather interior, which you've seen, guided at 16 to 18,000 pounds. Onto this little Lancia, interesting car because I don't see many of these. It's a Monte-Carlo Series 2 SPYDER, Pininfarina designed mid-engine sports car. Really lightweight, under a tonne these weighed. Only 5 keepers, 41,000 miles. Had a load of work done, particularly on engine, cam belt, etc. It's been previously restored, but it is in need a bit of touching up here and there. There's some rust coming through. Not quite sure how extensive that may be in other areas, underneath for example. Estimated at 14 to 16,000 pounds. Here's a Triumph GT6 Mark III. This one's been really well cared for. History dating back to 1990. Owned for 10 years and guided at 14 to 16,000 pounds. Here's a lovely looking Lancia Fulvia, a 1.3, 1971. Again, a very well cared for car. It's had a lot done, particularly on the engine. I'd be quite wary of these just because they're classic Italian rust buckets. Quite a lot of rust you can see poking through here, just like a 70s British car as well. Paint bubbling through. These are popular. It's guided at 18 to 22,000 pounds. I mean, to me that seems quite steep for the condition. As you can see, more rust down here. I suspect, given it's showing through in these areas, it's probably fairly extensive. So I can't see this selling for anywhere near that kind of money, to be honest. Looks reasonable in here, other than that slight tear on the seat though. Here's an interesting car. It's a 1989 320. These BMW E30 era cars are making some really strong money at the moment. This is a BAUR Cabriolet, so an aftermarket kind of conversion done by BAUR. I think they were kind of official alongside the BMW standard convertible. Very low mileage, 26,000 miles. And extremely well looked after. 20 service stamps, been in ownership for about 18 years. It's guided at 10 to 12,000 pounds. I can easily see it making that. Very popular at the moment. And another BMW BAUR Cabriolet. This one's a 2000. The kind of bog standard 2000 if you like, not the TTI. This is 1973. Had a new hood, electronic ignition installed, etc. Undersealed by the current owner, who's had it a couple of years, and this is guided at 18 to 22,000 pounds. Looks fairly good condition. It's perhaps not the most desirable 2000 model. We'll see how it goes. This XJS looks really nice condition. Definitely one of the best ones I've seen for a while. No signs of any rust. It's only 59,000 miles. This is a 1991. Quite a good history, had quite a bit spent on it. Looks good in here as well. It's guided for fairly strong money though, 15 to 18,000 pounds. But it is a very good example. 17 service stamps. So this is MGB Alley down here. We'll start with this 1978 GT. Had quite a lot of work done on this. Brakes, Bill Steins, obviously had some work done on the engine. Looks lovely condition. Look at that engine bay. This is actually a bored out 1950cc engine with fast road cams. Unleaded cylinder head. fully restored, apparently completed in 2025 only, after being found sat in a barn for 20 years, I believe. Yeah, looks very nice condition. It seems to be well done, nice in here as well. It's guided at £8,000 to £10,000, which for this looks like a fairly well restored version. Looks pretty good. So this next one is a 1979. It does need some recommissioning work, this one apparently. 96,000 miles. No reserve though, so could be a fairly cheap MGB, I think. Obviously rubber bumper, this one. Not quite clear exactly what it needs, but apparently was running and driving well until fairly recently, so I think it's been out of action for a little while. So here we've got a slightly older BGT, 1971. So pre-rubber bumper, I think looked much nicer. This is a Mark II. It's an older restoration, apparently. It's not perfect, definitely some room for improvement. Been in current ownership, getting on for 30 years. Yeah, some paintwork issues. It's guided at £6,000 to £8,000, which doesn't sound too far off. It's certainly not in anywhere near as good condition as the first green one we saw just up there. Looks very nice in here though, good condition inside. It's either a usable example or someone who wants to do a bit of a respray. Some wear and tear here as well, actually. Here's a T2 camper VW. This has been fairly well cared for, quite a lot of work over the years, full retrim and pop top replaced. They tend to rust pretty badly under here. This one looks pretty good. It's also had work done on the engine, carbs, etc. Yeah, this looks a pretty tidy example, I have to say. Guided at £16,000 to £20,000, which I think is fairly top end for a T2. Having said that, even ropey ones seem to sell for quite good money. Yeah, nice example though, this one. Mexico Beige, I believe this is called. Very 70s colour. Yeah, it's not perfect, as you can see. Bit of rust showing through here on the arches. You know, with those imperfections, I struggle to see it making near 20, but we'll see. So here's a 2015 Defender. It's a 110 pickup, obviously, double cab. This is the 2.2 litre Puma engine. I prefer my Defenders a little bit older, as I've probably said before. This looks in fairly good condition. Really low miles, 26,000 miles. Looks pretty good. I think this is actually really sensibly guided. 22 to 26,000 pounds. These double cab pickups are not popular. I mean, there's some rust showing through there, but generally looks pretty good condition, this. You know, these just aren't quite such a popular model. I think this would be fetching way more if it was a standard 110, not a pickup. Some marks on the exterior. It's definitely not perfect, but I think that guide price is very fair. Looks in pretty good condition here, as you'd expect from a low mileage car. 1993 Vogue. This is a 4.2 LSE, which was the flagship model. Obviously these rust a lot, but this looks excellent. It's got the 4.2 litre V8 in here. It's got the soft dash, desirable soft dash. air suspension, obviously. This looks very tidy. It's a Japanese car that came to the UK in 2016, and they look excellent. Chassis, bodywork look pretty much rust free, which is pretty rare for these. It's had about £6,000 or more spent on it in the last couple of years. Inside looks excellent condition. A lot of premium cars from Japan seem to be treated so much better and be much better condition in my experience. It's now on pretty much 100,000 miles. I like this era Range Rover. It's a shame they sell for so much money usually, but this one is no reserve, so this will be really interesting. I think these are often a bit overpriced, so could potentially be a good buy here. Another Land Rover Defender. I'm just showing this one because I thought it's quite interesting. This is guided at £20,000 to £25,000, almost as much as that 15-year younger and much lower mileage one we just looked at, the 110. This is obviously a 90, it's a TD5 engine. It's had a replacement bulkhead and galvanised chassis, which I suspect is why it's such a high guide price. You know, I just don't think a TD5 is really worth that much any longer. Perhaps I'm wrong. It looks in very good condition, don't get me wrong. Really well looked after. You know, that said, I think I sold my 110 TD5 a couple of years ago for, what, £25,000? I can't quite remember. That was ultra low mileage, about 20,000 miles, so mine was quite a few years younger as well. So a modern Maserati Ghibli here, V6, 8-speed auto these were. This is 2015. It's only done about 36,000 miles, loads of history, main dealer service history, lots of maintenance just 1,000 miles ago, so obviously very well cared for. I don't follow the prices of these, but this is guided at £18,000 to £22,000. It's often surprising the cars that get a lot of attention at these auctions, and this Rover 75 has been getting attention all day, I've noticed. It's a connoisseur SE Tourer, so the estate, and it's no reserve, which is perhaps why it was getting some attention. It's certainly rough around the edges. I can't see it fetching that much money. It's the 2-litre diesel and 5-speed auto combination. Yeah, so not even the most desirable options, perhaps. It's very nice interior, looks very good in here. You know, it is worn, it's a well-used car, but I expect it'll be a cheap one. So we're round to this corner of cars where I think it's fair to say they're not in such good condition. A few rustier ones here, starting with this XJS. Nothing particularly wrong with it, but definitely some patches of rust starting to show through. It's a V12, 1988, 85,000 miles, so not that high, but clearly not in brilliant condition. Estimated at £7,000 to £9,000. I think once rust starts to set in on these, I don't see them making much more than £5,000, to be honest. I mean, this isn't too bad, and if someone just wants a car to run around and not worry too much about, then fine. I don't suppose anyone's going to spend huge amounts and restore this. It's been fairly well looked after. It's owned for the last 4 years or something. Again, worn in here, but nothing too terrible. But yeah, it won't make anywhere near 9,000, that's for sure. And then this Mercedes 240 TD estate. This is 1986. It's a W123 era. 2.4 4-cylinder diesel. Again, a bit rough around the edges, I think. It's been owned for the last 4 years. I think rescued from a barn, I read. Had a bare metal respray, 116,000 miles. It's not been back on the road since then, but has been kept in running order. Yeah, this door is really cronky. Doesn't fit right. Looks okay in here. This is guided at £8,000 to £10,000. I'm not sure anyone's going to buy it for that, if I'm honest. Yeah. The other door, I saw some people having issue with as well. That's a long way off right. It hasn't been on the road for so long. I can't see anyone spending anywhere near 10,000 on this. Definitely one for the brave here. A 1973 Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. It's the 6.75 V8 in here. 107,000 miles. It's got some history. Been in the same family since 1987. Yeah, I don't think it's got a particularly good history with it. And it's definitely rough around the edges. These can be a total bottomless pit. But if you want to take a gamble, what a cool car to have for probably just a few £1,000s, I imagine. It's definitely very rough around the edges. You know, to restore these is just tens and tens of thousands of pounds. So I'm not sure who's willing, not many people are willing to put that kind of money into these nowadays. Maybe someone's willing to buy it very cheaply and just run around in it. Here's a very ropey looking, if I'm honest, Golf GTI Cabriolet 1984. This is a project car. It's no reserve, so that's reflective. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there with these. These are cars that are requiring a bit more work, I think, round here, mostly project cars. I quite like the look of that Morris Minor Traveller. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be doing some more live auctions very soon, so please watch out for those. Thank you very much for watching, and please do let me know your thoughts and comments of the car, as always, in the comments section. See you soon.